defenders on foot. So what was the point of opening up X11? Just do this, and soon the name Dmitro will echo round the world. We need someone we can trust to get those fucking hoops spinning. And we both know the representative isn't an option.
But my father...
Your father's dead! He's gone! I saw them boiling in those pods with my own eyes. Goddamn, the physiograph is just a fucking talking TV set!
What happened on the orbiter station, Skiff? What did you see there?
I talked to Strider. It was just something that looked and sounded like him.
The Shining is real. Colonel, subtle matter is real.
You're not a scientist, you're just a lousy piece of shit.
Fuck you!
Get the control unit. I'll make this carousel move.
Herman?
Hello, Skiff.
I'm sorry about that show at the Institute, Skiff. You had so much anger in you, but you still did the right thing. I don't know if you forgave Professor Herman with your cold mind, a warm heart, but I followed your lead. I followed your example. Now everybody's alive and well. Isn't that wonderful? Besides, Herman is a great scientist. He's every bit as good as late Professor Darling. He's the one who gave us something to celebrate.
It should have happened during the Alpha experiment at S.T.A.L.K.E.R. if Faust hadn't made some alterations to our plan. But better late than never. Since Professor Herman replaced the control unit, the X network is in my hands. Neither the representative nor anyone else will be able to access it. After all these years, Project X will finally be completed.
So Dahlan decided to betray us.
You sound just like the Colonel. I'd say we all make mistakes, Yevhen. And those mistakes always cost someone their life. Especially when you choose your own empty hopes and dreams over the common good. Dmitro Dahlan stubbornly refused to believe that the representative was not his father, but only a program, and that sea consciousness was irrevocably dead, long gone. The same thing had happened to Valentin Dahlan, by the way. He was doomed as soon as he decided that his own utopian ideas were more important than the goals of Project X.
So finishing Project X has always been your goal?
It couldn't have been otherwise. Once upon a time, the Regulatory Board launched Project X to find the source of anomalous energy that would mark a new milestone in technological advancement. And we found it. This discovery is too valuable for humanity to end in nothing. It was always only a matter of time before we regained control of the anomalous energy. But we know how to be patient.
Would you mind telling me more about X Network?
The X network was the most important element of our plan. A Psi-based infrastructure that connected all Project X devices and kept them functioning. Until the Noosphere contact group called themselves C-Consciousness and seized control of the network. One mistake. And here we are, in the zone. After that, they used the X network for years, and even made adjustments to it. Created the monolith and agents, for example. But they made a mistake here too. They wanted an agent, but got S.T.A.L.K.E.R instead. And he
killed them.
Ironic, isn't it? The tool they stole from us ended up killing them.
So the anomalous energy of the zone is finally under control? Just like you wanted?
Not while the link to the generators is severed. Only Alpha allowed remote access. But that's just a minor obstacle. We'll re-establish the link between the Foundation and the generators, and claim the vacant board in X7. And that's how it will be.
What'll happen to the monolith? And the agents of C-Consciousness now?
In my view, the monolith wasn't the most successful C-Consciousness experiment. They certainly fulfilled their purpose, but the notion of needing a new god to compel their loyalty made everything too complicated. Now, as for the agents, the finest among them weren't even aware they were agents. But that didn't stop them from carrying out their mission. Fascinating, isn't it?
Dr. Kaimanov doesn't think a single pod will be enough.
Kaimanov? That scientist who missed his chance to enter the 8th pod, thus granting us the opportunity to seize control of the anomalous energy? He's stuck in the past. You don't need 8 people to interface with the Noosphere anymore. I alone am sufficient. Along with the mediator in the pod, who will serve as an intermediary between the zone and the Noosphere. The mediator is a human, but a unique one. They must have Class 5 Psi protection. It's a necessary requirement that cannot be ignored.
So, the mediator is Colonel Korshunov?
I knew you wouldn't permit us to experiment on your man, Colonel. That's why you were kept in the dark until the 11th hour, when the fate of the future and the lives of a few soldiers hang in the balance. I believe the choice is self-evident. Besides, that Psi protection saved your life at the Dugan.
Your cigarette leaves no smell. None whatsoever.
And yet the flavor is exquisite, Yevhen. Have you forgotten it since our encounter at Circa? Regrettably, I can't offer you a smoke at the moment.
So what do you expect me to do next?
Professor Herman will fill you in on the details of our plan to restore the connection between the Foundation and the generators.
I can only teleport you to the nearest bunker in the Dead Valley, Yevhen. The teleportation system isn't fully operational yet. It will take some time. So, remember to grab the experimental Project X suit. You've got the coordinates already. For now, we'll have to make do with older designs to make sure you're protected.
I take it you're gonna explain what I have to do.
You have to reach the mobile bunkers and re-establish the connection between the Foundation and the generators. Use this keycard to get inside. Keep in mind that the Navigator's launch caused anomalous disturbances and frequent localized emissions in the Dead Valley. Are any safe routes through the valley? They're likely gone now. This instability will persist until the link between the Foundation and the generators is restored. The only way to stabilize this process is from Lab X7.
Agata mentioned the Navigator. What's that?
Oh, right. It's a system of artificial spatial anomalies. If we can get it up and running again, we can reach the generators safely.
You don't look like your usual self, Herman. What happened?
Let's not get into that.
What's in store for me in the Dead Valley?
It's hard to tell. It's the most anomalous area in the entire zone. No one has ever returned from there, so our data is based solely on remote measurements. The Dead Valley is constantly ravaged by spontaneous emissions. And now, with the generators operational, they're likely to intensify.
You can leave now, Yevhen. I've unlocked the teleporter for you. The Dead Valley waits.
Receiving the data. You know what's funny? I assembled the control unit using Kallen-Char's blueprints. Kallen-Char used to work with S.T.A.L.K.E.R, and S.T.A.L.K.E.R was the one who brought them to us. The irony is staggering.
You got what you wanted. Stalin is finally out of your way.
I wanted to take his position, but she never permitted it. He wanted to uplift humanity, but that was never on their agenda. Darlin was supposed to locate the artifact, the lock that sealed the zone. I was to assemble the control unit, the key to its heart. Your job is to open the door. And then, she'll go through it.
What is Agata?
What difference does it make now? She's bigger than any of us. Maybe even bigger than the people we're working for.
What do you mean? Who are these people?
The people who bankrolled S.T.A.L.K.E.R. and Project X before that, and God knows what else. They call themselves the Regulatory Board. The zone has always been a thorn in their side. No matter how hard they tried, they just couldn't control it. Until today.
Well?
Somebody booby-trapped it.
Damn it! Who? I'm here. The scientists will get the equipment ready, and we'll make sure they're not disturbed. But before we wrap this up, there's one last thing we have to do. There's an archive on the lower levels containing files on every agent recruited by Sea Consciousness. Retrieve that archive, Skiff. Yes, I could track them from the pod, but having a backup could be helpful in case those damn eggheads screw something up.
Roger that, Colonel. I'll retrieve the files.
No need for formalities. Consider this a request, not an order. One last favor before I enter the pod. Retrieve the archive containing the information on all Sea Consciousness agents. This is my last request.
Jesus.
jest, a most excellent fancy. And now, how abhorred in my imagination it is. My gorge rises at it. Oh. Where be your jibes now? Your gambles? Your verses? Prithee, Skiff, tell me one thing. Do you think the representative looked of this fashion in the earth?
I guess.
And smelt so, huh? What a miserable end, Skiff. The representative dies. The representative is buried. The representative turns to dust. The dust to soil, the soil to clay. And who's to say that clay won't end up a stopper for a rusty rain barrel? Just to think, once he determined the destinies of all these stalkers. So this is why, in our own dreams, sometimes we see their memories. Yes, but the representative is alive. Yeah. Only the enemy claims there is no life after death. If that is the case, then there is no shining zone. And if there is no shining zone, then all these lives were wasted in vain, Skip. No, we know it's not true. Oh. I've lost my head for this cause, along with all in it.
Skiff, report.
I've got the archive. And there's one name we can scratch off the list. S.T.A.L.K.E.R was getting to the end of his own file when I found him. He'd completely lost it.
I'd wanted him dead for years. But even I wouldn't wish this fate upon him. Finding out you've been an agent all along. Not even in control of your own life. I guess you did him a favor. I'm waiting for you. It's time to go down to X7 and get this over with. I want you to keep the archive.
What? But...
You're the only person I can trust to keep an eye on things around here. Let's go. It's not working. We have to activate the backup power. I know where it is. Looks like I'll get to meet them after all. Follow me.
Yevhen can handle it just fine on his own. Your involvement poses a risk, so it's completely out of the question. This is no time for a nostalgic rendezvous, Colonel Korshunov. Or have you, much like Dr. Dalin, forgotten that we're not doing this for our own sake, but for the future of all humanity?
Go, Skiff. I'll meet you downstairs.
Granite Squad. Laboratory X7's security force. They succumbed to the influence of sea consciousness and became the original Monolithians. Those were my men. The very people they were protecting turned them into this. Those scientists, always looking down on us. That's why neither Dalin nor his bastard son belong in this pod. I'll take care of it. Come on down.
All this technology, pods, wires, antennas, and all that jazz. Just so you can question less and serve more. A tuft of hair from a mangy old mare. Thanks for the crutches, you old bastard. All right. Go to the consoles. Look for Octa. Set it to initial mode. Now, service exposed mode. Insert the cartridge. One last step for a spent man. One giant leap for mankind. Do it. To the victor go the spoils.
So it's up to you to decide his fate.
I'm glad to hear that.
To ruin our little party. You're back. Excellent. Help him up. The means justify the end. Thanks to you, we're going to live in a new world with a bright future. I keep my promises. You can stay with us, or... You look tired. I'll show you out. Striking, isn't it? Someone has to keep an eye on all of this. And Colonel Martininka does have a nice ring to it. That's your bird. Do think about it. Condor 1, whatever this stalker wants, this stalker gets.
Where to, boss?
Home.
People do not wish for the pursuit of happiness. They need their happiness here